Have you ever been driving along in the interstate and maybe if you're like me, you're already speeding a little bit. You're doing 75 in the 70 driving in the left lane and you're thinking, I'm kind of setting the pace. When then all of a sudden out of nowhere, someone zooms past you on the right side. Now, when this happens to me, I first and foremost think, well, I'm already speeding. How fast could they possibly be going? And then the next thing that I think is I hope that they get pulled over. I hope that they get exactly what's coming to them for what they just did. Now, isn't that interesting how even though I'm already speeding and already in the wrong, I want to give myself a pass, but yet the one that speeds past me, I hope that judgment gets served on them. I hope that they experience justice because they are breaking the law. Well, something similar happens in our passage today. Jesus and his followers, this is a pivotal part in the Gospel of Luke. In Luke chapter 9, verse 51, it says, as the time approached for him, meaning Jesus, to be taken up to heaven. So we're only in Luke 9, but we are turning the corner towards the second half of the book here in chapter 9. It says that Jesus resolutely set out for Jerusalem. Now, Jesus had already been run out of Jerusalem. His followers are a little leery about this decision, but we see here there's a resolute decision that I'm going forward onward to Jerusalem, where ultimately Jesus will pay the price and the penalty for the sins, even of his enemies. But then what happens next is remarkable. Jesus, on his journey to Jerusalem, they're going to be passing through the area of Samaria, where the Samaritans and the Jews they did not get along. So Jesus sends word that he's coming and wants them to make preparations for his visit. And the word comes back from the folks in town that they are not willing to play ball. No, we're not going to get things ready for you, Jesus. And then a couple of the disciples get so upset at these Samaritans for not properly honoring Jesus the way that they should. And they ask, Jesus, do you want us to call down fire on them for what they did? Do you want us to make sure that they experience judgment and justice for what they just did? And Jesus, rather than saying, yes, give them exactly what they deserve, he says, no. And in fact, he rebukes those disciples. Because here's what we need to understand about Jesus's journey as well as your and I journey as we follow him. It is a journey marked by radical grace for even those that oppose us, even those that are in our way, even those that we disagree with. It is a journey marked by radical grace. That means that you need to have radical grace for those that disagree with you in the way that you see the world. You need to have radical grace for those who vote differently than you. You need to have radical grace for those that live their lives different than you. You need to have radical grace and leave justice and judgment up to God. You need to have radical grace for every single person that you come in contact with. So that's my challenge to you. Can you see other people like Jesus does and want to give them grace rather than judgment? Even if they're in the wrong, can you desire grace for them more than anything else? That's the way that we are to live our lives as we follow Jesus.